Every human being is a child of God, but every Christian is a beloved son and daughter of God. Because of that connectivity that we have through baptism in the person of Jesus Christ, we become children of the Father and the brothers and sisters of Jesus.
मूलं समीक्ष यत्र गम्यता सर्वेषां मार्गं तथैव प्रवृत्ति मूलं समीक्ष यत्र गम्यता सर्वेषां मार्गं तथैव प्रवृत्ति.
Sisters and brothers, a very hearty welcome to each one of you to the third Sunday after Christmas, which is also known as the Sunday of the Baptism of the Lord. For me personally, it had been always a perturbing statement when people say that Christians are peaceful people. I always used to ask myself the question, how do I feel within my own self? I come to a response that Christians are in fact peace-loving people, but inside themselves they are people who are set on fire. Sometimes we hear very many people saying, I have no peace, therefore I am going for a retreat. I would rather say that perhaps is a wrong move. Whoever told you that you would have peace after having made a good retreat? A good retreat will always disturb you, making you more and more conscious about your tag as Christian, the responsibilities that you hold as Christian. It would be a kind of an inner revolution that is happening inside of you, where you are no more at peace with yourself, you are on a war with yourself. That's why Jesus told once, I have not come to give peace on earth, I have come to set fire on the face of the earth. And this had been the history of the humanity. Look at the Jewish people whom we encounter time and time again in the Old Testament. We see there the people of Israel who had been unsettled in their very lives, had been a wandering people all through. Look at Abraham. He was a well-settled man, but the moment God interfered with his life, he became an unsettled man. He was told to go to a place which he never knew. It was a leaping into the darkness of faith. Look at many of the prophets, Samuel, Jonah, and many others. They all wanted to settle down themselves in a very secure place, but God picks them up and tells, you must go and get unsettled. This exactly is the struggle of being a Christian. Once you are set on fire, you can never be at peace with yourself. We have today the first reading taken from the prophet Isaiah. Then we have a beautiful statement. Isaiah the prophet, inspired by Yahweh, would say, here is my beloved son, the one I have chosen, and the one in whom I am well pleased. He will establish peace on the face of the earth. He will bring justice to the world. And he will never break a fainted reed, nor will he quench a wick that is fainting. Which means, this is a Prince of Peace who will always stand by people who are oppressed and suppressed. This is a Prince of Peace who will always uplift those who are downtrodden and even morally weak. He will establish peace on the face of the earth. He will never be making noise around. On the street that he walks through, there will be calm and quiet. He will never be worried about his own self, Instead, he would see the peace of the people around himself. This exactly is the foretelling about the Messiah who is to come. He never looks for his own peace, but he wants to set peace and justice on the face of the earth. That's why in the second reading today from the Acts of the Apostles, St. Peter would proudly say, God shows no partiality to anyone. There was a time Peter was always believing that salvation is meant only for the Jews. But enlightenment now dawns on him as well, where he begins to believe that Jesus Christ and the good news that he preached is meant for the whole humanity. He speaks about the baptism of Jesus, a baptism of spirit and power. John the Baptizer baptized with water, but the Messiah would baptize you with spirit and fire, and he will bring peace on the face of the earth. What a wonderful message. It is here that we turn towards that gospel passage of the day. We have today the depiction of the baptism of Jesus as narrated by the evangelist Luke. Luke would in fact in the beginning present John the Baptist. John the Baptist is at the river Jordan, and there he is in fact living a Christ-like lifestyle. As all of us are well aware, at that time the people of Israel were expectant of the arrival of the Messiah, and John lived a righteous life. He was very strict and disciplined with himself. Therefore, people began to see in him a Messiah himself. And John would now clearly say, I am not the one. At the same time, one message is indirectly communicated to all of us. The message is that every Christian is called to be Christ-like. Seeing each one of us, people should be able to see Jesus Christ. And the message of Jesus should be very well resounding in our own very personal life too. Now we have that beautiful presentation of Jesus coming to John to receive baptism. Thereafter, there is a very interesting statement made in the Gospel. After Jesus received the baptism, Jesus prayed. Yes, my sisters and brothers, this is very striking for me. After having received the baptism from John, Jesus prayed in front of John the Baptist. In the midst of the people, Jesus prayed to his Father. If we look into the whole life of Jesus, we would see one thing. That which is contagious about the personality of Jesus Christ is that from the beginning of his ministry till the end of his ministry, Jesus always connected himself well with his Father. Through the public ministry of Jesus, we know, before every miracle, after every miracle, when he was in need of the intervention of God the Father in his life, Jesus prayed. And how does the ministry of Jesus get concluded? He prays in the Garden of Gethsemane, surrendering himself into the hands of his Father. Sisters and brothers, the power of the Spirit moving in the person of Jesus now makes him to understand the power of God working in him. That is the power of baptism. Every baptized person is someone who is connected with God. How much time do we spend in prayer? I belong to the congregation of the missionaries of St. Francis de Sales. Under the patronage of this great saint, we have a wonderful learning from him. Francis de Sales would say like this: every day, my children, pray minimum half an hour. But thereafter, he makes a very strange statement. If you have no time, pray 1 hour. How important it is for every Christian to be connected with God. After the prayer of Jesus, we have the revelation. The heaven is opened now, and there comes a voice from heaven. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. In the Greek language, the word for beloved is agapetos, which means someone who is very dear to me, close to my heart. This particular word beloved is used very specifically 3 times in the scripture. One is a prefiguration that happens in the life of Abraham. Once Abraham decided, in accordance with the commandment of God, to offer his son as a sacrifice to God, God tells, because you have agreed to sacrifice your beloved son, someone who was so dear to you, I will make you a father of the nations. The second statement of the beloved comes, as we heard today in the gospel, where God the Father telling Jesus, you are my beloved Son. And the third statement is during the time of the transfiguration of Jesus. This is my beloved Son. The first one, which was meant in the life of Abraham, was a prefiguration regarding the Messiah. The second one, during the time of the baptism, is directly meant for Jesus. And the third one, which is the transfiguration, and there the statement beloved is meant for the disciples of Jesus. You must remember today, every human being is a child of God, but every Christian is a beloved son and daughter of God, because of that connectivity that we have through baptism in the person of Jesus Christ. We become children of the Father and the brothers and sisters of Jesus. Sisters and brothers, how united we need to be through our baptism to show forth the spirit and spirituality of Jesus in our own personal lives too. Do we see our brother, our sister in the other? Do we recognize God's fatherhood in the whole of creation? And do we realize the baptism that I have received is the greatest gift that opens the door for me to encounter God in my personal life? Remember, you are a beloved child of God. Amen.
मूलं समीक्ष्य यत्र गम्यताम् सर्वेषां मार्गं तथैव प्रवृत्ति